Take a deep breath. Have you ever found yourself trapped in an endless cycle of thoughts? As if your mind doesn't know when to stop. You replay past conversations, anticipate future scenarios, get lost in worries that haven't even happened. And in the end, you only feel more anxiety, more exhaustion, more confusion. Overthinking is one of the greatest enemies of inner peace. It keeps us in a constant state of alert, pulling us away from the present and making us carry an unbearable mental burden. And the worst part? Most of the time, we don't even realize how much it affects us. But what if I told you that there is a way to silence this mental storm? A path that has been taught for centuries by great Buddhist masters. Shi Heng Yi, a monk and Shaolin master, has shared profound teachings on how to train the mind to achieve serenity and clarity. In this video, you will learn 6 powerful teachings that will help you stop overthinking and find inner peace. Simple yet transformative practices that will allow you to cultivate a calm and present mind. If you feel like your mind is always restless, if you want to break free from the prison of incessant thoughts, then this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could change the way you live your life. Imagine that your mind is like a glass of water. If you keep shaking the glass all the time, the water will never be clear. Similarly, when your mind is constantly filled with thoughts, worries, and doubts, it can never find clarity. Overthinking is one of the great evils of our time. We live in a world of excess information, stimuli, and expectations. We are always connected, always chasing something, and our minds reflect this fast-paced rhythm. We overthink the past, worry excessively about the future, and slowly the present becomes a blur. This mental whirlwind comes at a high cost. Anxiety becomes a constant presence, preventing any moment of genuine rest. Nights become long, marked by insomnia and mental fatigue, as the mind simply refuses to shut off. The simplest decisions feel like insurmountable mountains because every detail is analyzed repeatedly. And in the midst of all this, a sense of emptiness arises, a quiet discomfort of someone who is always somewhere else, but never truly present. The mind is a powerful tool, but when we let it control us, we become prisoners of our own thoughts. Buddhism teaches that the root of suffering lies in our inability to observe the mind without identifying with it. But the good news is that there are ways to calm this inner storm. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the mind can be trained and peace can be cultivated. In the next teachings, you will learn how to silence this agitation and regain your inner peace. Let's move on to the first teaching. Shi Heng Yi teaches that silence is not just the absence of sound, but a powerful tool to calm the mind. In a world filled with distractions, where we are bombarded with information and stimuli all the time, finding moments of silence has become a challenge. But it is precisely in this silence that clarity emerges. In ancient times, monks and Buddhist masters would spend long periods in complete silence, not just as a discipline, but as a way to understand the nature of the mind. When you stop talking and step away from external noise, you begin to realize something fundamental. Most of the noise comes from within. It's incessant thoughts, worries, and internal dialogues that never stop. Silence is a mirror. It reflects what is truly happening inside you. At first, it may feel uncomfortable because the mind will try to fill this void with even more thoughts. But if you persist, you will notice that gradually the mind begins to quiet down. To incorporate this teaching into your life, start by setting aside a few minutes of your day to be in complete silence. Turn off the screens, find a quiet space, and simply be present. Breathe deeply and observe your thoughts without attaching to them. At first, your mind may resist, but over time, you will begin to experience a profound sense of peace. The art of silence is not just about stepping away from external noise, but about learning to silence the internal noise. And when this happens, you discover something surprising. The peace you've been searching for was inside you all along. Teaching number 2. Observe without attachment. Shi Heng Yi teaches that one of the biggest mistakes we make is believing that we are our thoughts. This means that when a negative thought arises, we often identify with it and start suffering. If the mind says, "I'm not good enough," or "things never work out for me," we take these ideas as absolute truths, not realizing they are just passing clouds in the sky of consciousness. In Buddhism, there is a powerful metaphor to illustrate this idea. Imagine your thoughts are like leaves floating on a river. If you jump into the water and try to hold on to each leaf, you'll quickly find yourself struggling in the current, exhausted and out of control. But if you simply sit on the shore and watch the flow of the river, you'll see that the leaves come and go without any need for interference. The same is true for the mind. The key to finding inner peace is not in trying to eliminate thoughts, but in learning to observe them without clinging to them. When you become an observer, you start to realize that the mind generates all kinds of thoughts, but none of them define who you truly are. Suffering arises when we hold on to certain ideas and begin to react emotionally to them. To practice this teaching, try a simple exercise. Sit in silence for a few minutes and, instead of trying to control your thoughts, just observe them as if you were watching a movie. Whenever you notice you're getting too involved with a thought, imagine it's a leaf on the river and let it pass. Over time, this practice creates a healthy distance between you and your mind, allowing serenity to blossom naturally. By learning to observe without attachment, you discover that you don't need to fight against your mind. You simply allow thoughts to come and go without letting them take over you. Teaching number 3, the importance of conscious breathing. Shi Heng Yi teaches that breathing is the bridge between the body and the mind. In Buddhism, paying attention to the breath is considered one of the most effective practices to calm the mind and anchor yourself in the present moment. This is because breathing is always here, happening in the now. While thoughts can take you to the past or future, the breath will always bring you back to the present moment. Think about how many times during the day your mind gets lost in worries and anxieties. Now, observe your breath in those moments. It's probably short, fast, and shallow. This is a reflection of your mental state. When we're anxious or overwhelmed, our breath becomes chaotic. But the opposite is also true. When we breathe consciously and deeply, we send a signal to the body that we can relax, slow down, and find balance. In Buddhism, there is a practice called anapanasati, which means mindfulness of breathing. The idea is simple but deeply transformative. By focusing on the breath, you train your mind to stabilize. Over time, this reduces excessive thinking and creates a state of presence. To incorporate this practice into your daily life, try the following exercise. Close your eyes and simply observe your breath without trying to control it. Just notice the air coming in and going out. If your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Do this for a few minutes whenever you feel like your thoughts are speeding up. Over time, your mind will naturally learn to calm itself. Breathing is an anchor that connects us to the present. When you learn to use it consciously, you discover that inner peace isn't about controlling thoughts, but simply being present with what is. Teaching number 4, acceptance and letting go of control. Shi Heng Yi teaches that much of our suffering comes from resisting reality. When we try to control everything, our thoughts, emotions, external situations, and even the future, we create tension and frustration. Buddhism reminds us that the world is constantly changing, and wanting everything to be exactly as we imagine it is an illusion that only brings pain. Think about how many times you've clung to something that no longer made sense, simply out of fear of change. It could have been a relationship, a job, or even a belief about yourself. When we refuse to accept what is, we spend an enormous amount of energy fighting against life itself. The result? Mental exhaustion, anxiety, and a constant sense of dissatisfaction. But what if, instead of resisting, we learn to let go? Letting go doesn't mean giving up or being passive, but understanding that not everything is under our control. There's great wisdom in accepting things as they are and acting from that clarity, rather than reacting impulsively. To practice this teaching, begin by observing where in your life you're holding on to something you can't change. Ask yourself, am I resisting something I need to accept? Then, take a deep breath and visualize yourself letting go of that resistance, as if you're opening your hands to release a weight you no longer need to carry. Acceptance doesn't mean approving everything, but recognizing reality without fighting against it. When you learn to let go of control, you discover that peace doesn't come from trying to control life, but from flowing with it. Teaching number 5, the power of now. Shi Heng Yi teaches that the human mind has a natural tendency to get lost in time. We spend much of our day reliving the past or worrying about the future, but rarely are we truly present in the now. This habit keeps us trapped in cycles of regret and anxiety, preventing us from experiencing true inner peace. Buddhism teaches that the only thing that truly exists is the present moment. The past is gone and cannot be changed, and the future hasn't happened yet. Yet our minds insist on carrying the weight of what has already passed and trying to anticipate what's to come. This mental pattern drains us and takes us away from the only real experience, the now. Shi Heng Yi explains that when we are fully present, excessive thoughts lose their power. The mind becomes clear, and a deep sense of calm takes over our being. This is why many meditative practices, such as mindfulness, teach us to bring our attention back to the present moment, whether through the breath, body sensations, or simply observing the environment around us. To cultivate the power of now, try a simple exercise. At some point during your day, pause for a few moments and pay attention to everything around you. Notice the colors, the sounds, the textures, the air temperature on your skin. Feel your breath and notice how your body moves. Whenever you realize your mind is wandering, gently bring it back to the present moment. Over time, this practice will help you realize that peace is not found in the future or the past. It is always here, in the now. Teaching number 6. Turn the energy of thought into action. Shi Heng Yi teaches that overthinking without acting is like spinning in circles without getting anywhere. Many people spend their lives trapped in a mental maze, analyzing every detail, weighing every possibility, but never taking the first step. The result is stagnation, an endless cycle of doubts, fears, and regrets. Buddhism teaches us that the mind should be used as a tool for action, not as a prison. When we allow our thoughts to accumulate without direction, they become a burden, draining our energy and pulling us away from the present moment. The secret to breaking this cycle is simple. Act. Think of something you've been postponing for a long time. Maybe it's an important decision, a personal project, or a habit you want to change. What's been stopping you from acting? Fear of failure? The need for total control? The desire to find the perfect time? The truth is, there's no ideal moment to begin. There's only now. Shi Heng Yi suggests an effective method to turn thoughts into action. Whenever you realize you're overthinking something, ask yourself, what can I do right now? And then take a small step. It can be something simple, like writing down a plan, taking the first step, or even standing up and moving your body. Action interrupts excessive thinking and brings clarity. The mind will never be completely free of thoughts, but when you learn to channel that energy into something productive, you find that the solution to mental overload is not to think more. It's to act more. Well, dear friend, throughout this video, we've explored 6 profound teachings from Shi Heng Yi to help you quiet your mind and find inner peace. We talked about the importance of silence, the art of observing thoughts without attaching to them, and how conscious breathing can be a powerful anchor to the present moment. We also learned to accept and release control, to live fully in the now, and finally, to transform overthinking into action. Each of these teachings is a key that can open the doors to a lighter, more serene life. But remember, knowledge without practice doesn't bring transformation. The true path to mental peace is not just in understanding these principles, but in incorporating them into your daily life. Start slowly, applying one teaching at a time, and observe how your mind responds to these changes. If this content resonated with you, share in the comments which teaching impacted your life the most. And if you want to continue this journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your mind deserves rest and your soul deserves peace. See you in the next video.